What's up, my beautiful brothers and sisters? It's your girl, Dr. Shonna. And I am going to be talking about the video that is under fire after Hawthorne, California Police Department pulls out a number of guns, including AR-15s, on a black man who fits the description. This story is all too familiar with many of us. This happens all too often with many of us. But we got to start looking at these things through a different lens and not an emotional, reactionary lens, right? So I'm really going to go deep into this video because I noticed some things that happened to me when I was watching the video. I started to feel myself emotionally react, and I had to soothe myself and calm myself down. But then again, I'm a therapist. I know how to do that. And I am aware of when I start reacting. I am aware of when I start becoming emotional. And I'm aware of how to regulate my emotions so that I won't become emotionally reactionary and then start like wilding out, because that's what trauma looks like, right? So we're going to really examine this whole damn video that is out there. We're going to examine some stuff that I have uncovered about this situation. We're going to read the press report from the police department. And I'm also going to tell you guys some of the things that I think as a community we ought to be doing and what we need to do. Because I'm hearing a lot of emotional responses, not only from this video, but for almost any video. Here's a story where the video starts out like this. Let me paint the picture. As a young woman, she goes by the name of Sky. She was at the gas pump pumping gas into her car when she noticed a number of police officers surround this one black male. His name is, let me see what his name is. Give me a second. William Ewell, or Ewell. William is his name. And she starts to immediately start recording this video. Now, in the video, you can see some women who look like they were maybe Pacific Islanders. They may have been some type of Asian, not too sure, but they look like they were Pacific Islanders. That's what they look like. And one had her Glock drawn. The other one had a AR-15 drawn. Now, that is a rifle, okay? That is an assault rifle, right? And they're both pointing at the guy. From the video, there's another officer that has a gun drawn too, which looks like it's pointing sort of in the direction of the person that's filming. But I am not saying that they was pointing their gun at Sky. I'm not saying that, because cameras have a way of making us believe something that doesn't exist. So I want to make that very clear. However, the point is there were multiple cars, multiple police officers with multiple guns drawn on this one suspect that is sitting or kneeling down on the sidewalk. His back is facing them, so he's not even in their direction. His hands are behind his head. He's not moving. So therefore, the way they were positioned, they were already overpowering this man. First of all, I want to thank Sky for recording the video. And I don't know if this video is going to make it to Sky or not, but I want to thank Sky for recording the video. But I have to be able to examine Sky from a psychological perspective, because that's what I do. I have to be able to do it. Sky is a traumatized woman. And women, we mean our men well, but sometimes we can make situations worse than they are. In her case, she did not. I'm only speaking about the trauma that is evident that I saw in Sky. Sky's boyfriend was killed in 2015 by the police, according to what she said on the video. And what I noticed with her interaction with William, I understand what she was trying to do, but Sky was so worked up. She was so worked up because, again, she's traumatized. If you guys are never sure what trauma looks like, if you can stomach watching the video, I want you to watch the video and I want you to listen to Sky. Not watch the video so you can start to react emotionally, but I want you to listen to Sky for the purpose of looking at trauma so you can see how trauma looks for many of us. Not all of us, but many of us. So Sky is clearly a traumatized woman. And why does this matter? First of all, when I was looking at it, I was like, I'm glad she's recording, but I also saw that she was adding on stress to William. Now, some of you guys who may or may not be trained in this area, you may not understand what I'm saying. But those of you guys who understand what I'm saying, y'all just let me know. Just let me know. Yes, Mimi saying that video was crazy. It is. Yes, Michael's saying heartbreaking. And this is not an insult to women whatsoever, but we have to understand, women, ladies, we have to understand that we are wired differently. And we have to understand that naturally, even if they don't look like they are protecting us, by nature, our men are designed to protect us. Now, I already know that some of our men have some faulty wiring. I understand that. Some of our men were raised by some women, and it has changed their wiring system. I understand that. I understand that. But for the most part, we're talking about healthy situations, healthy minds and body. For the most part, men are naturally designed to protect us. And yes, that queen was there for him. Yes, that queen was there for him. I got it. But I can see how she was talking to him and he's trying to respond to her and his hands are behind his head. But then he's like, I'm William. And he's moving his hand because she's saying, what's your name? What's your name so I can get in the video so I can know? I understand that. But she's emotional and he's responding emotionally. And him moving his hands was an immediate threat to these officers. And we got to be aware of that. We got to be aware of that. We have to be smart how we go into these situations, and it requires us to be able to analyze our emotions. Videotaping is what we have to do. Because if we didn't have these videotapes, we would not be seeing things how we are seeing them now since 2012, even though these things has been present since before then. But we have to understand this, ladies and men. When we pull out our videotapes, we have to still be aware that we too are targets. We still have to be aware of how we are operating. We need to be strategizing at all times, and we are not able to strategize when our emotions get the best of us, because when our emotions get the best of us, our brain is not getting oxygen, and our brain needs oxygen in order for it to function correctly. And that's with logic, reasoning, words, thinking, behaviors. Our brain needs the oxygen to be able to carry out its functions that will keep us alive. Let's talk about the white cop. First of all, we have to understand strategy at all times. That cop was being slicker than grease, okay? He was slicker than grease, and we have to recognize it for what it is. And too many of us are sleeping, and we think that because the way the cop approached this woman, we would think that he approached her because he cared about her. Because some of us are foolish, and we believe foolish things. This cop did not approach this woman because he cared about her. Not at all. It was a strategy, and we have to understand that. These mother freakers play chess. So I don't want to see people saying, well, he wasn't bad. Not all police officers are bad. He was a nice cop. There was nothing nice about him. And we have to understand why he came over to her. He didn't care about her 1 minute. He cared about being filmed. He cared about his narrative. He cared about whether or not he was going to be under scrutiny by IA. He cared how much paperwork he was going to have to do. He cared who he was going to have to answer to. He cared that the public was going to soon find out how they responded, as though they was waiting for the Unabomber to walk out of a building for one suspect on his knees with his back to them and his hands behind his head. He didn't care about that woman. He cared about the narrative. He came over to see who she was and what she knew. And this is what I need us to stop doing. We need to stop giving these jokers, see, I was about to say something else out of my mouth. We need to stop giving these jokers, these Neanderthals, all of our life story. He don't need to know that your boyfriend was killed in 2015. He doesn't need to know that you care about him just that much. We need to be in clear mind. Clear mind. We need to control these emotions. because he wasn't there for you. He didn't care while you were crying, Scott. He didn't care. He cared that you were filming, and he wanted to make sure you got his narrative. And that's why he told her his story. And his story was, listen, this is just procedure. This is just protocol. He loosely, the word loosely was used. He loosely fits the description. And the call said that weapons were involved. So we're just being cautious for all of our safety. Don't ever talk to those jokers. Don't you dare. We are becoming too trusting. And these jokers turn our words around, and next thing you know, we in jail. Next thing you know, we doing a 25-year bid because they turn our words around. Stop talking to these jokers. These Neanderthals know exactly what they are doing. They are trained since birth to know exactly what they are doing, and we keep falling into the traps. Had they shot that man down and she's all emotionally dysregulated, they would have found a way on the stand to say that she was unfit to testify because her views were subjective, because her husband was murdered in 2015. And I don't have to be an attorney to know that I was a state investigator for many moons. And I know how language is used against us. See, people don't understand language. They don't understand linguistics. They don't understand how language works. And they understand that we need to understand that sucker. They understand exactly how. That's right, Michael. Checkmate. I keep saying we are playing chess. Are they playing a chess and we're playing checkers? They would have killed that man and they would have called her in as a witness. The attorneys representing the state would have had her damn testimony thrown out because her views would have been subjective. And she was not in a good state. She was under duress. And she was emotional and traumatized. And they would have questioned her mental health because her boyfriend was killed 4 years ago. Let's talk about William. We absolutely must talk about William. Who is William? William Ewell allegedly is 24 years of age. And he is from Inglewood, California. Y'all know about Inglewood, right? I'm not going to go over the stats on Inglewood. So my attorney is saying all on point, ends on code. Absolutely, that is on code. Now, the story with William, according to William in the video, if you listen to him, he never said that he wasn't in the store. He never said he didn't get into a scuffle. What he said was, no, they were assaulting me. They hit me. They was hitting me. That's what he kept saying in the video. William, shut your damn mouth. Shut your damn mouth. See, we got to understand when we are being targeted as a suspect and we are cuffed and we are being detained, even if you're cuffed and you're not free to go, your behind is detained. And what we have to understand is anything that comes out of your goddamn mouth will be used against you. You already said that you were there. You didn't let those witnesses allegedly pick you out of a lineup against other black men that was wearing black hoodies and black pants at your height and your complexion. But instead, you already incriminated yourself. And this is what our children do.